Wow. I feel sorry that you don't have anything around.
It's okay.
Well, it's like my friend's house. Tabby, I love this. I've got a friend. My friends have this beautiful 150 plus year old house, Victorian, beautiful house. They've been repairing it for years, and they've got cats. So I'll cat sit and when they go on working the rent fair or whatever, and there's nothing there. It's absolutely nothing. And I jokingly admonish them, saying, "How can you have a beautiful house like this and no ghosts whatsoever?"
Well, that happens. Yeah.
You know you're a true ghost
Yeah.
hunter when you can walk into somebody's house for the first time and say, "This is really nice. Is it haunted?"
Is it haunted?
I actually had a friend that bought their house only because it was haunted. And before they bought it, before they even put a contract on it, they called me and said, I want you to come and check this house out. So I went with them and walked through, and the moment I walked in the door, I picked up on at least two. And as we were walking through, and the real estate agent was, showing from room to room and so on and so forth, after we walked out, standing out next to our cars, and my friend looked at me and said, well, what do you think? And I said, it's a beautiful home, absolutely gorgeous. It was turn of the century Victorian, absolutely gorgeous. Yep, it's haunted. Why? Well, that was one of the real reasons that we wanted to buy it, was because it was haunted. And about 6 months after they finally got everything moved in and renovated the way they wanted, I stayed there overnight one night, and I'm in the guest bedroom, and footsteps are coming down the hallway, hard-soled shoes. I open the door and look out, nobody's there, and all the hair stands up and everything. And then I hear the door at the far end of the hallway to another room. I hear the doorknob jiggle, and then I hear it click and then close again.
Hmm.
And that is, in that house is where I got one of the best EVPs, where I was using dowsing rods, and I had like 2 or 3 of them that were trying to talk at the same time, and it was getting annoying because they were jerking my hands. They were literally taking my hands and trying to talk. And I kept saying, one at a time, please, please, one at a time. And when I played my EVP back, when I played my recording back, you very distinctly heard a female voice saying, as soon as I said, one at a time, everybody, please, one at a time, she very, very loudly said, thank you. Very loud.
Huh.
It was like, well, okay.
That's
I'm
like that
telling them
scene
to,
in,
to line up one at a time, and she's like, no, not happening.
it's like that scene in Ghost with Whoopi
It
Goldberg.
startled me. It's like, wow, what a language, lady.
Wow.
It's like that scene in Ghost with Whoopi Goldberg, where she's sitting there and it's like all the ghosts are around her, and it's like one at a time, one at a time.
Yeah, one at a time. It gets annoying. It really does.
I like
You
that
feel that
movie.
they're kind of get lined up to talk, and you have to go, hey, take a number.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, hey, the microphone is on. Step up, folks.
That's interesting. So you can does it happen a lot, the different places that you go to? Maybe more than just one spirits that are wanting to talk?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Um, Probably the biggest places would be like battlefields, where you have all, it's not just soldiers, sometimes
Right.
it can be just anybody.
Hmm.
Um, but when one of them says something and I acknowledge it, all of a sudden, hey, she can hear. Hey, she can see. Yeah, let's go over and talk. Let's ask some questions. And I'll have to say, guys, can you line up here? You're giving me a headache.
It's like the first season of Ghost Whisperer, where essentially the catchphrase goes would look, they'd look at it and go, "Can you see me?"
Yes, exactly. It's like, oh, they can. Ding, 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 ding.
So they're
Kind of like
actually
that
wanting-
light, above your head that shines. Open for business.
Yeah,
Okay.
like the old radio shows, where the red light comes on
Right.
to say that you're on the air.
Right.
Oh yeah,
Evidently, I've got one of those at the top of my head in certain places where, they realize, hey, she can either see or hear me, and the next thing I know, I've got them. Like I had like 3 or 4 of them here in the computer room with me one night when I was listening to the show, and they were just all standing around listening to the music. And finally, I just looked back and I said, "Does anybody have a request?" And somebody came up with some obscure, what the heck was that? Some obscure Buddy Holly song. So I asked the Shock about it. He says, "Where did you come up with that?" And I'm like, yeah, do you really want to know? Okay, Cat, I know exactly where it came from. Never mind. I mean, he knows me all too well that if I come up with some strange songs, it's usually because somebody's asking for it. So,
Wow.
It kind of makes you wonder if there's like the ghost equivalent of a FLIR camera out there that they can sort of hone in on a certain temperature or a certain light and know that that person's kind of, like I said, open for business. Ding.
Oh yeah, yeah. I wondered about that. Probably the most profound thing that ever happened to me. I can't go into any details, but that happened to me with Tina Marie. I had a spirit to come to me, and they were very adamant about why she wasn't talking to him. And I couldn't understand, well, why are you coming to me? And when I relayed the information to Tina, she says, well, evidently because they knew I wasn't talking to them, they came to the one person that they knew would pass on the message. And that was me. So there it was.
Wow.
It was kind of cool.
Yeah, it's
kinda
confirmation,
wild.
isn't it? That's confirmation, right?
Well, yeah.
No, that's what I
Yeah.
thought. Yeah. I thought maybe I
That's
went
a
off
really
there.
good confirmation.
Uh,
Because that was, something that's really out in the blue and you're kind of going, whoa.
right.
Yeah, because I mean, I had no clue who this person was or anything, or why she refused to talk to him. And after I relayed the information, she just said, well, I will explain to you next time we see each other. And the next time we saw each other was at the Fairfield Inn. And we're standing in the parking lot, and she explained the whole situation to me, and then it made sense. But I was like, well, why did they come to me? Well, because they knew that you would listen and you would pass on the information. Okay. Gotcha.
Interesting.
But you don't pull the Caputo thing of walking up to people in stores going, hey, there's a person standing here who has a question, has an answer for you.
Oh, no, don't even get me started on that. No.
People look at you like you're crazy.
No, not doing that.
Yeah.
Heck, half the time I can't even go into an antique store without picking up on somebody. Because they're always attached to something that's there. But no, I'm not going to just walk up to somebody and say, hey, your great uncle Sammy wants to pass on the information about your Uh, that ruby ring that you're wearing, no, no. I think that's stupid. I think in some ways it's almost reckless.
Right.
It really is.
Right. Because people don't want to believe. Yeah.
Well, it's also you could trigger a post-traumatic stress incident that you don't want to be responsible for.
Hmm.
Yeah. And that's why I don't want to take on the kind of responsibility of the kind of medium that passes on information or asks questions. I don't want to be responsible. Not at all. If I get it right, then that's fine. But if I get it wrong, oh no, I have to live with that, and so do they.
Right. Hmm.
We're down to a couple minutes, and
Yes.
Tabby, we
Okay.
need to ask you about your new book.
Yes, I'm in the process of finishing up the stories for my second book to go off to my publisher, Haunted Road Media. And it's my understanding that there's a very good chance that it might be out by Halloween.
Woohoo!
So I'm hoping to get that done. My second book will be about, my first one was My Life Amidst the Paranormal, various different stories from here in the United States and in Great Britain. But my next one will be about how the paranormal has shaped my life, the different experiences that have caused different things to happen in my life and the effects of it. So there it is.
And soon as
So the
it
title
comes
yet, or
out,
is that the title?
yeah.
There it is. No, there's a couple of different titles in the works, but most likely it will be touched by the paranormal.
Hmm. Wow.
To be
But the
confused with
author's
Roman
name
Catholic.
the author's name will always be the same.
Right.
Yep.
So
Which is good.
we're just about out of time, and I want to thank you for being with us tonight, taking the time to
Thank
chat.
you. Appreciate you having me.
And with that, we're going to be jumping off here in just a second, and want to thank everybody for listening tonight, and hope you enjoyed the show. And we will see you next week at the same time. So we're going to be running on out. Have a great rest of the weekend. So this is Henry Foister.
Jeffrey Gould.
And Barbara Duncan.
And so good night, everybody. You've been listening to the Paranormal View on the ParaX Radio Network. Join us again next week at the same time for more of the Paranormal View.